Hey, how's it going? This is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads, and today I'll be walking you through your digital marketing attack plan to show you how you can turn your website into a lead generation machine and really generate some revenue for your business month over month. Now, if you take a look at the top here, we're looking at Roofing Tampa, which generates about 1,600 searches every single month. And it's much larger than that when you really take into account all the other search terms such as roof installation, roof repair, roofing near me, all these other terms that really increase the search volume. But for the sake of time in this video, we're just going to be focusing on the 1,600 searches Roofing Tampa generates and showing you how you could generate some revenue for your business with those searches. So let's start with your website. So here we are on your website, and I think you have a very visually aesthetic website. However, from an SEO perspective, there is a lot of different things that we can improve to really make sure customers are finding our business online. Now, the first part of that is going to be internal search engine optimization, which is essentially everything we can do on your website to improve your website's search appearance. Now, normally you're going to hear things like title tags, heading tags, local business schema. And while those are all great for your website, we're going to focus on the two most important things here, which are content and keywords. So let's start off by talking about content. Now, content is very important because we want a content-full website. And the reason being is that content gives users something to engage with. And when a user has something to engage with, they tend to have a positive experience. And that is more likely to bring them either back to your website or to Google for future searches. So it really makes sense that Google would promote websites that promote that positive user experience, normally through content, load speeds, and a variety of other factors. But like I said, we are focusing in on content, so we really want to be content full. Normally, I like to recommend about 750 to 1,000 words of content. That is the bare minimum. That way, you have a content full website, but still have that visual aesthetic. I know a lot of people are very overwhelmed by content, and they think that it takes away from the visuals. So, like I said, 750 to 1,000 words on any given page is that golden range. However, you're probably saying, well, Justin, why don't I just throw up a website with 5,000 words and call it a day? And the reason we can't do that is because we have to make sure that our content remains relevant. Now, the way we do that is with our keywords. Keywords are the most used words or phrases on a website, and based on these keywords, we are going to tell Google vital information about our business. So let's take a look at your keywords and see if they tell Google everything that we need to tell them. So here we are on a tool I use called Keywords Everywhere. And if we scroll down here, we're going to take a look at your first 5 or 6 keywords. Now, normally I like to recommend that we answer 3 main questions for Google with our keywords, and those are number 1, what industry do we work in? Number 2, where do we do business or what's our location? And number 3, who are we or what is our brand? So keep those 3 questions in mind as we go through your keywords. Now, number 1 and 2, like I said, we want to answer what industry you work in. So roofing is great as your number 1 keyword. Very industry specific, very to the point. Roof at number 2 is great. Now, just an idea, but normally I like to recommend a complement to the first keyword. So you can have roof at number 2, but normally I recommend some sort of complement such as installation or maybe repair, or even home because it's a type of roofing. So if you deal with more residential jobs and commercial, you could put home roofing in there. But just something to think about. Now, number 3 and 4, I always recommend putting a location-based keyword. It's super important that we have a location-based keyword in here. That way we can tell Google exactly where we do business and help them drive that local traffic to our company. So number 3 would be Tampa and number 4 would be Florida. That way we really cover our location-based keywords. Now, number 5 and number 6, I always recommend putting your brand in there. The reason I always recommend putting your brand in there is that it tells customers, who we are, and also it'll help them find us on Google because we'll be able to rank for our brand name. Because not often, do we always get somebody looking for our brand name. However, it does happen. So definitely want to make sure that we show up when that happens. So just a quick recap: number 1 and 2, industry specific keywords; number 3 and 4, location based keywords; and number 5 and 6, industry-based keywords. So let's take a look at your competitors and see what they're doing as far as content and keywords go. So here we have a company called Tampa Roofing, and they rank on the first page organically for roofing services in the Tampa area. And obviously, their exact match name does help, but it is not going to prevent us from outranking them. I know a lot of people get worried when they see that, but like I said, we can very easily outrank them if we follow a proper SEO structure. So definitely something to think about. So let's take a look at their website. They don't have a lot of content on here. In fact, it's really just this one paragraph on their homepage. So we can really go in and beat them in that facet of SEO. And if we already are beating them like you are, we can even double down on that and expand on our content to really push that margin. So always room for improvement and always room to keep going forward. But let's take a look at their keywords, because sometimes even though they don't have a lot of content, they're able to stash keywords and images or other different ways. So let's take a look at their keywords and see how relevant their website is. So once again, we're back to keywords everywhere. And if we scroll down here, you'll notice that they have roofing at number one. Like I said, very common keyword for obvious reasons. And number two, they have that location-based keyword. Now, I noticed that you had that location-based keyword a lot further down. However, like I said, we really want to stress to Google where we do business. That way we can really drive local traffic to our website. So definitely something to think about. Like I said, I recommend it at number three. They put it at number two, but you see how important that location-based keyword can really be for your business. And then they have systems, Tampa Roofing Company, roofing company. So you start to see it starts to vary a little bit. So their keyword list isn't fully optimized, but however, I would recommend taking this list as well as the suggestions that I gave you, kind of combine them together to create the strongest keywords list possible to make sure that our website is very relevant. But let's go back to your website and talk about external search engine optimization and how it ties into everything. So now we're talking about external search engine optimization, which is essentially just everything we can do away from your website to help improve your search appearance. And in this case, we're talking about backlinking. Now, backlinking is very simple at face value, just a link from one website to another. However, from an SEO perspective, a lot more is happening. So, what is happening when a website gets a link from another is it's essentially saying that they trust the information that is coming from that website, or they trust the website that is representing that business. So, it essentially acts as a reference to Google, and it can really move our rankings in a positive direction. However, just like a quality reference can tell Google that we are a quality site, a bad website or a harmful website can tell Google that we are an untrustworthy website or business. So, really a fine tightrope to walk when we are backlinking. However, we really want to focus on the quality of our backlinks. Otherwise, it's essentially, 10,000 or however many backlinks that you have that are bad, telling Google that we are also a bad source. So, let's take a look at a tool I have called Ahrefs and examine your external backlink structure. So here we are on Ahrefs, and you'll see your website has a 45 UR, a 31 DR, which generates about 319 users per month, and about $2,000 in traffic value. Now, let's take a look and kind of dive deeper into these metrics. So UR stands for URL rating, and what that is the individual power given to a single web page. So in this case, we're just talking about your home page, whereas DR on the other hand stands for domain rating, and it describes the power that goes to your entire website. So not just your home page, but our service pages, our service areas, all those pages are summarized in DR. Now, it's really important that we combine the two to create the strongest ranking strategy possible, as well as our internal optimizations. However, let's take a second and talk about traffic value, because these 319 users are bringing you about $2,000 worth of value, which isn't bad, but it could be much higher. Now, traffic value is a stat that essentially summarizes the buyer intent of each user based on the keyword that they are coming from. So, for instance, somebody looking for roofs might be looking for pictures of roof, might be looking for roof installations, roof repair. So it doesn't carry as much buyer intent. Whereas somebody looking for roof installation or roof repair directly carries a lot more buyer intent, because they are directly looking for a service, and 9 times out of 10 they are looking to purchase something. So a lot more buyer intent, and we want to gear our keywords towards that buyer intent so that we can really drive home some revenue. So let's look at some of your competitors and see what they're doing as far as external SEO goes. So once again, we have Tampa Roofing here, and you'll notice that they have a 27 UR, a 3.1 DR, which generates about 330 users every single month and about $4,000 worth of traffic value. So this is a perfect example of a website who, their external SEO isn't bad, but they've complemented that with their internal SEO, so they are getting a lot better results. Now, if we keep working down the line here, we have Westfall Roofing, which was the number one organically ranking result. So let's see what they have going on here. They have a 33 UR with a 23 DR, which generates about 4,000 users every single month and about $30,000 worth of traffic value. So you really see the results when you combine your internal and external SEO structure. But let's go back to the Google search engine results page and talk about the Google Map Pack. So here we are on the search engine results page. If we scroll down, what we've been talking about is down here in the organic search results. But if we scroll back up, we have this map pack right here. And this is super important because it essentially gives businesses a second place that they can win on Google. Obviously you can win down below, or you can win in the map pack. And if you can do both and get the number one spot in each, you guarantee that 1,600 people see your business first before looking at another company. So very important here. To get into the map pack, we first have to verify our business via postcard, which is 100% free. And then to rank in the map pack, we have to adhere to the different factors that Google is looking for. So number one, they are looking for a 100% filled out form. The reason I say 100% is because the more information you give them, the more reputable your business looks. Number two, they look for a strong organic rank, which is why SEO is so important because it does influence this map pack as well. And number three, they're looking for citations, which are all the different places your business's name, address, and phone number are listed online. Some popular citations are things like Yelp, Facebook, Yellow Pages, Yellow Books. All those are different citations you can get for your business. But let's take a look at how many citations each of these companies has and determine how many you'll need to go in and start outranking them. So here we are in Whitespark, and as you'll see, we have Stay Dry Roofing with 47 citations. We have Quality Roofing Inc. with 62, and Rainer Roofing with 35. So normally I like to recommend that you double the biggest number in there. So if it's 62, we're going to need 124 citations to really go in and outrank our competitors, along with the other factors as far as internal and external SEO, to really create the strongest ranking strategy possible. Now, that's all I really have for you in this video. I hope this was very educational. Once again, my name is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads. I'd love to hear back from you and set up a meeting. That way we can discuss anything that wasn't mentioned in this video or maybe any questions or concerns you may have. But once again, that's all I have for you, and thanks for watching.